Hi,
Where are you calling from?
I'm from Holland, and I have a question. I was on my way to a retreat, actually, and something went wrong in my back. I got a big hernia, and then on the retreat, I meditated for 6 days with the pain, and I failed to recognize the bodily signals. So I literally destroyed it. And now my question is, how can I separate the bodily signal and meditate with the pain without making it worse? I failed to recognize it.
Well, first of all, a deep bow to you. It's a fabulous question. It also applies to anybody who has a body. Sooner or later, we're going to run into something like that. And of course, it's also familiar to a lot of us that rather than listening to the signals that our body gives us, we go do what we want and then make it 10 times worse. And then we have to feel badly about ourselves and our previous decisions, beat ourselves up a little bit more. And then we still have to, as doctors will often say to people when they've run out of medical options for chronic pain conditions, you're going to have to learn to live with this. And then they don't teach you how.
No.
That's the end of it. That's why MBSR was developed, to actually do the how of learning to live with whatever it is that is here. So one is to, of course, direct a certain degree of compassion and humor to yourself for having overrode all your body signals to put you in this acute circumstance right now. And then to know, and I'm just going to state this because out of my own clinical experience over the past 40 plus years and my own personal meditation practice, that it is workable, no matter how much pain you're in. It is workable as long as you're willing to do a certain kind of work of practice and of putting out the welcome mat for the unwanted. And you will sometimes have to do it if the pain is too intense. Excuse me, you'll sometimes have to do it in very slow doses or micro doses, like say even one fraction of an in-breath, where you really direct attention to the point of maximum discomfort. And then you generalize it so that you're not focusing too much on that region. And then you breathe out. Okay, so it's just like putting your toe into a swimming pool before you dive right into the deep end, just to test the temperature of the water. Too much pain, too much freezing cold water. I'll just put my toe in, then maybe my foot up to the ankle. And then gradually you learn how to be in relationship with the sensations. Then you'll notice that the suffering is not merely due to the sensations, no matter how intense they are, because there's also thoughts going on in the mind and emotions and reactions. And I'm not sure if I detected it in you, but the thought that what an idiot I was for doing this or that,
Yes.
So then you beat yourself up emotionally and cognitively, and that compounds the suffering. The sensory dimension, what's called the nociceptive input of the what we call pain, is just intense discomfort. We're going to call it pain. Very often that inflames it. And if we begin to see that we contribute to it through emotional and cognitive pathways, that actually I shouldn't have done that, or this is going to ruin my life, or it's going to affect everything I do from here on out, and I won't be able to do. And then you have a laundry list of what it's going to prevent you from doing. That's going to compound your suffering, and it has nothing to do with the actual sensory dimension of things. Once you start to move in and really focus in on the sensory domain, you can ask yourself the same question that I was responding to, that I proposed to the previous question, which is your awareness of your discomfort uncomfortable? Or is awareness something that you could bring to even intense sensation in such a way that you've got a new way to befriend it, a new way to be in relationship, a new way to learn from it? And then there's also evidence that when you focus in on this point from brain studies now in neuroscience, that it actually modulates all sorts of chemical and physiological mechanisms that result in the experience of pain. And then the question of, is pain and suffering the same thing? And what we're really liberating ourselves from is the suffering. The discomfort we can learn to live with. As the doctors often say to people, you're going to have to learn to live with this, but they don't teach you to how. And then once you start learning to live with it, your pain actually becomes like your best meditation teacher. And sooner or later, when it's finished the job, it'll disappear. And hopefully that will be before you die. But I've seen this
I
happen
hope so.
in thousands of and in myself, that you'll tell yourself, oh, I'm going to be this way for my whole life. It's not true. It's just, that's just another toxic thought. That when
Yes,
you
it is.
recognize it, you don't have to suppress the thought. You can just liberate yourself from it immediately. Good luck.
Yes. Thank you so much, Jon.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.